everybody, Tyler here with Chaos Rods. Today we're going to talk about a type of reel that is essential to any full boat outfit, something that we deal with on the daily. Mostly people who really want to target wahoo, yellowfin tuna. If that type of stuff piques your interest, you're definitely going to want to check out some reels like this. Typically somebody who wants to get into this side, they're going to be using a 50 class reel, something that's really durable, really powerful, and holds a lot of line. And those reels are 50 wides. We have our three biggest brands that we sell. We're going to start with the Shimano Tiagra 50 LRSA, which is their long range special. Then we have the Okuma Makaira. And lastly, we have the tried and true Penn International 50 wide. All three of these reels are going to be great choices if you're looking to do planers, Nomad DTX plugs, high-speed leads, things where you really want to get out there, get after some true giants here out of Southeast Florida, or pull some heavy gear. So when it comes to looking for a new 50 wide setup, Shimano Tiagra is going to come in at $840, where your Okuma Makaira is going to be $767. Then we have the Penn International right in the middle at $800. If you're going more on the budget side, you're going to have the Okuma Makaira. It's going to be a little more friendly than the Shimano Tiagra. Next thing really important is gear ratio. Gear ratio is going to be your line pickup. How fast can you reel in the line? All three of these reels are 2-speed reels. That means they have a high gear and a low gear. And on all of them, they're going to have a very similar engaging system where it will be a button right on the side of the handle where you can engage from low to high, high to low, whatever you're in as you're fishing. On the Shimano Tiagra, you're going to be at a 3-1 on the high side, and you're going to be at a 1-3 on the low side. Switch over to the Okuma, 3-2 on the high side, 1-3 on the low side. Then you're going to have the Penn International. This guy has a 3-5 on the high side and a 1-3 gear ratio on the low side. So if you're really incorporating quick line pickup, maybe billfish or wahoo, which are known for turning and coming at you, you got to be able to pick up that line quick. Even though it's a minimal difference, the Penn International is going to give you the highest gear ratio of these three models. All three of these reels share that they are made of stainless and aluminum mostly, whether it be, especially on the exterior frame, from the actual body to the glide plate to your handle arms, things like that. Another big factor when people are looking into getting a setup like this is going to be weight. Let's face it, if you go and have a big, clunky, heavy reel, you're not going to want to fish with it. Doesn't matter how great it is. So it's important to be comfortable. Shimano Tiagra is going to be 86 ounces. This is the behemoth. She's a little bit heavier than the rest of the lineup, where you're going to go to the Okuma Makaira, 65 ounces of weight, and the International almost identical, but 67, so 2 ounce difference. If you're really factoring weight to your decision, the Makaira is going to be the lightest. The Shimano Tiagra would be the heaviest. Another big part of making a decision when you're going into this type of fishery is line capacity. How much line can I truly hold on these reels? Just to make it universal across the board, we're going to rate them in 100-pound braid, a little bit heavier than typically what you would need. 65 and 80-pound braid does a lot of the fishery down here in Southeast Florida. Now, if you're watching this and you happen to be somewhere maybe on the Gulf side or up in the Northeast, a lot bigger fish, 100-pound may apply to you. So we'll start with, again, the Shimano Tiagra. Of 100-pound braid, it's going to hold 1,200 yards. On the Okuma Makaira, very similar, 100-pound braid, right around that 1,200-yard mark. On the Penn International, however, this one is going to hold 1,800 yards of 100-pound braid. So go into this and you're going to be thinking how much line can I fit on here? I want to have the max amount of line capacity. That would be one area where I would give it to the Penn International. As I said, all of these are going to hold a ton of line, probably way more than we'll need for down here in Southeast Florida. I mean, 12 football fields, let's be real. That's a lot of line. And as you go down in diameter, like we talked about, 80, 65, you're going to hold more on there. Let's talk about the handle choices. You can see all three of these reels have longer handles that you can really get a grip on when you're working over on a big fish. The Tiagra is going to have the thickest and overall biggest diameter handle, so you get the most grip on this guy. The Penn International, very similar in length to fit most people's hands, however a little bit thinner up here. So maybe a little bit more closed-fisted, I can get a grip on it and start to turn this over. The one that really stands out when we talk about that is going to be the Okuma Makaira. Much thinner in diameter, much thinner in length. Another thing that really sets this apart from the other ones is on the Makaira, your handle kind of comes out at an angle versus straight up and down. So this would be another thing to think about. Maybe somebody who's got smaller hands might be able to grab onto a handle like this a little more comfortably, where if you're going into this and you're thinking, you know, I've got 80-pound line with a 60-pound fish on the end, I want as much to grab onto and have leverage as possible, that's where this Shimano Tiagra is really going to shine. We've talked about a lot of the similarities. Let's go into some of the differences, and we'll start with where these originate from. The Shimano Tiagras are from Japan. Then you have the Okuma Makaira. This is going to be out of Taiwan. And then we have the tried and true, made right here in the USA, Penn International. When you're doing a full boat outfit, sometimes aesthetics are key for you. You know, what color are these reels? Can I have them match my scheme of other reels and rods that are on the boat? It's very important to some people. So we're going to talk about the color options that you can get these reels in. Unfortunately, the Tiagra only comes from Shimano in this standard champagne gold color. When it comes to the Okuma Makaira, you're going to have this deeper glossy gold. They also come in silver, and you'll have the LBS or land-based shark fishing editions and their special editions. Those come in black. So on here, you're going to have three different choices that you can pick from. On the internationals, mainly gold and silver, that those are going to come in. So let's say you have a boat, a lot of silver spinning reels out there, and you want something that's not only going to be on a matching color rod, but match the general scheme as well. These do give you a little bit more options than the Shimano Tiagra. One thing that, you know, is different on one of these reels out of the three. So I'm going to turn these sideways so you guys can kind of get an idea. I'm going to show you guys on here what's called the glide plate. And the glide plate is going to be where this drag is coming up on here when you go to apply pressure. Tiagra has some really big hollowed out notches here in the metal. So what that's nice about is, let's say I want to up my pressure on a fish or a bait, I can go inch or notch by notch. I don't have to go all the way and have it slide up. Makaira has a very similar type system, not complete holes, but little grooves that it kind of falls into, you know, some smaller one. Just tick it one at a time. Here's the biggest difference is the Penn International is going to be, it makes a clicking noise and you can definitely feel a little bit, but overall from the looks, it's going to be relatively smooth. So you can take this reel and go right up really quick, as opposed to some of these other ones where even though I can get them up quick, you have a little bit more where it wants to fall in place as that drag lever is moving forward. Most people that are looking to get into their wahoo or yellowfin tuna setup with a 50 wide reel, one thing that's very, very common regardless of which three you may choose, is going to be adjustable butts. On all three of these reels, since they are 50 class, you can fish them on a number 2 butt. You don't have to have a big number 4 butt in order to fish any of these 3 reels. Not like you would on this bigger 80 wide option here. And this, frankly, you know, the bigger you go on the butt selection, the bigger you go on the reel, it's more going to live in the gunnel rather than being able to take it out and stand up, fight that fish. So a lot of people will go ahead and have, let's just say we're going to pick the Makaira first. Slide that baby in there. Tighten this down. So on here, what's nice about this is I can fish a high-speed setup or maybe with the Nomad DTX plugs by simply clicking this pin, bending it over, and right now my reel is in the bent butt position out of the rod holder. Let's say I want to change gears, maybe go to planer fishing, my personal favorite way to target wahoo, or I'm not so much a fan of cranking over in the gunnel and I really want to get sporty and stand up, fight that fish, as opposed to holding this where it's going to be kind of at this awkward angle. I can simply, again, go ahead, click this pin, comes up, and now I'm comfortable at a normal angle to go ahead and fight this fish. You know, we sell a lot of 2-piece rods here. Probably the most popular choice and the best choice in my opinion would be to pair this butt and a reel like this with one of our SW 5100s. SIC guides for that braid, Winthrop roller tip, very easy to clear, wind on leaders, planer bridles, things like that as they come up and go over. Then we'll go into the drag. Drag is huge when you're doing heavy duty fishing offshore, whether it's being able to apply that force on a big fish or whether it's just simply being able to pull bigger tackle, number 6 and 8 planers, 220 size nomads, you know, 24 and 32 ounce lead. So we're going to start with the Shimano Tiagra. There's a little lever right here. Flip that up. Really loud drag on that. Want to disengage that, click it right back down. On the Okuma Makaira, their drag is actually not as much all metal, but more of like a graphite composite little guy right here. Same thing. Flip that up. Another really nice sounding drag. You'll be able to hear it as you're standing at the helm, fish jumps on. And lastly is the Penn International. Flip that baby up. So on all 3 of these reels, regardless of which one, the drag is pretty much in the same spot, backside, behind the handle, very easy to engage, disengage, or work with, whether it's in the gunnel or whether it's something that's in your hand and you're actively fighting that fish. On the Shimano Tiagra, you're at 57 pounds of max drag. Switch over to the Okuma Makaira. This one has the ability to give you 60 pounds of drag with a total of 85 max drag. On the Penn International, this is going to be the lightest on the drag side with 45 pounds of drag. All of these have enough to do the type of fishing that we discussed, but if you really want something that just has, you know, uncontested power, Okuma Makaira is going to be the choice for that. One other thing about the Okuma drag system specifically is right out of the factory, these guys are going to come with cal sheets, upgraded drag systems, something that would normally cost someone $250, $300 to send either of these out to and have the drag systems redone by cal sheets. So right out of the box, you're getting an upgrade when you go with the Okuma style. Maybe you don't have that heavy duty use, you know, not pulling high speed leads and things like that, and you want something that's just a little easier, not as souped up on their drag system. Each of these reels is available in a single speed along with their 2-speed counterparts. When it comes to preference, it's a Ford versus Chevy type. All 3 of these reels are going to be great reels. You couldn't go wrong with picking any of them. We keep these in stock, you know, as much as possible. Don't really think you're going to go wrong with any choice of these three. I like them all. If you'd like to know a little bit more about that reel, or maybe which one you should go with that's going to better suit your needs, you can always feel free to either give us a call if you don't live local, or if you do live local, come on in. We'd like to be able to put each of these in your hands and let you kind of feel that best match for you and get you set up. Thank you guys for watching.